been kind of a crazy day today as more negativity surrounds the scene. The complication is obviously this year is going to be different for the RLCS, and I think we're all very much aware of that, but I don't think people knew exactly like how different it was going to be. You can tell with the new production company, things are changing. We've had this conversation on stream about how the overwhelming narrative for Rocket League has been Rocket League is dying. Rocket League is dying. Rocket League is dying. The amount of videos and conversations that have been put out by content creators about it. So to think that things were going to continue to stay the same is quite honestly the same line of insanity. And unfortunately, it seems like they are doing that everywhere. You've got to find a way to make Rocket League profitable, and that also starts with your esport, which is your major marketing tool. And unfortunately, RLCS, call it what it is, has been oversaturated for a really long time. And this is something I've talked about for a while. We did basically the looking up and the very light research on it, but if I remember correctly, and based upon the list, which I can kind of show you guys, there was essentially 20, 21, 22 talent on the RLCS team. The ones that I have stars next to were ones that were basically like a filler. Spaceman wasn't fully contracted. He came in as a supplementary thing. They started using him more towards the end of the season. Yummy Cheeseman only came in during, major events. Lemon Kiwi was on a trial period towards the tail end. But outside of that, you're talking, we had 18 to 20 talent on the RLCS, which is insane. And that's not to say that these people aren't talented, that they aren't qualified, that they don't deserve the job. I say this as someone who has worked with all of these people, who loves and adores all these people, all extremely talented people. But the reality is in an esport, it is insane to have this many talent on a broadcast team. It doesn't make sense. When I'm at a live event and I have some of the talent coming up to me and being like, hey man, what games do you cast today? And they say they cast one series a day, there is an overstaffing problem. This was going to happen in some way. If you go and compare it to every other esport in the industry, most broadcast talent teams are anywhere from 6 to 10 people. There's usually 6 to 8 mainstays and then a couple fillers that come in when they do international events or majors, or when the event is longer than a couple days or online. They need more people so they can rest their voices. So people come in well rested, ready to go, and can give it their all. The complication is that they have too many talent, and when you can obviously see this season is a bit of a regression. I think we can all admit, yes, this season hurts. We are taking a step back. There is less Rocket League being played. The prize pools are smaller. It's open qualifier system, which obviously Epic really likes, but it alleviates some of the security that the high end has. Like, there is a lot of negativities. But this is also a 4-year deal with the hope that a regression here, budget cuts here, streamlining here will then allow them to build and be more successful in the future when it is justifiable. But right now, the industry is not in a good place. Budget cuts are happening everywhere. We've had 8,000 plus layoffs in the last 12 months. Twitch has gotten hit twice. We've talked about this a lot more off camera on stream with everybody as well. If you guys want to come enjoy these conversations, twitch.tv/Lawler, come hang out with us. We're here to hang out all the time. But the difficulty is that adjustments need to be made, budgets need to be cut. They need to refine this process because in order to keep it going, they have to find better answers. And unfortunately, that means people's jobs. Based upon the math that I was doing, Epic was spending well over $1 million per year in talent budget alone. And that's just to pay them to do the job. That's not including travel costs to get to and from locations, housing, food, cater, any of that stuff. Just $1 million plus, based upon the math I was doing, to pay the talent to do the job, not including all the other expenditures. That is insane. It's too much. And it sucks saying that because I am one of these people. I love casting and doing what I do, but having 18 to 20 talent is too much. They are getting paid way too much to do way too little. And it sucks saying that. And I'm trying to be as objective as possible because I love these people. I adore these people. I consider them close friends. Some of them I consider family. People that I spend more time in my life with than my own family for the first 8 seasons I did the RLCS as well. So to say this stuff sucks. It's not fun. It's not a good time, but I'm trying to educate you guys on the reality of where we're at. At the same time, this is nothing new. The casters knew that something like this was going to happen. The thing that frustrates everybody is that they knew that this was probably going to happen, and they didn't inform the casters until 2 weeks before the RLCS started. I think it's very, very difficult for casters in particular to try to now have to pivot in their livelihoods and figure out what they're going to do next. Because there is a reality that, you know what, they had full thought of job security, that they knew they were coming back next season, expectations being set, even though they knew changes were going to be happening. To my knowledge, without breaking any NDA type stuff or whatever, the casters, there was a general sentiment of like, this is our last hurrah. This is the last time this big of a team is going to get to stick together. Changes are going to happen. Based upon all the casters I've talked to, they were aware that this could and was probably going to happen. They didn't know if it was going to be everybody's rates are being reduced and they get to keep everybody and slowly trickle, if it's going to be massive layoffs, they didn't know it was happening or what specifically, but they knew it was potentially going to be. So the fact that this is happening should not shock anybody. This is something I've been talking about for well over a year now, because it doesn't make sense budget-wise to do this. Despite that, it sucks. It really fucking sucks. And I feel for everybody that's going through it. As of right now, the way that this process is probably happening, and I'm going to talk to you guys from my perspective, because I also went through this at the beginning of Season 9. Usually, these casters have an agent or someone that represents them as part of their management team. And Epic Games and the new tournament organizer, the broadcast production team, Blast Premier, are coming to a conclusion of what is within the budget, how many casters would we like to keep, which casters would we like to keep, how does that work? Once they determine that, they then do one of three things, basically. They send an offer over to the agencies of, these are the talent on your rosters that we would like to keep. The other ones are not being not being provided contract, so on and so forth. So if I'm an agent, I receive offers from Blast Premier because they're the talking party in this. They're the communication party, even though it is both a conversation for the Epic competitive team as well as Blast. It is a collaboration. It is not just Blast making this decision. So that information goes to the agent. The agent then goes, okay, this is the talent that we have that has received an offer. I'm going to reach out to them and say, hey, this is the offer they sent. Is it within justification for you to do it? Is the workload versus the payout worth the opportunity cost? Is this what you'd like to do? They go, yep. They negotiate. They go through that. They sign the deal. They're on to the next season. The players or the casters that have not received an offer, then the agents are pulling into those guys one by one, a conversation. That's how it happened with me. Is my agent pulled me into a call. We talked and they said, hey man, I don't know how to say this. I'm going to keep it real with you. You did not receive an offer for next season. And then all the emotions come in. The realities of, shit, I don't have a job. What do I do next? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my mortgage? What do I do? How do I survive? Can I get into another? All these thoughts are going through these guys' head. And unfortunately, we already know 4 of them that is happening with. We've got Subi Smash, we've got Achieves, we've got Jorby, and we have Spaceman. All 4 of them have put out publicly that they are not receiving a contract and that they are no longer part of the RLCS. And it fucking hurts. Like, these are mainstays. These are people that are well respected, and you can see the community backlash. And unfortunately, they're going to go through the things that I also had to go through. And they're doing it at a arguably worse time, and probably one of the worst times we've had in esports in a long time. We're in the middle of what is referred to as the esports winter. We are going through, unfortunately, the decisions of, like, people are being laid off. There's crazy oversaturation. Job opportunities are not out there. And they're now going to have to face the reality of making content probably isn't going to go well. Finding a coaching, managing position, probably not going to go well. Maybe some of you will be the outliers, but realistically, it's probably not going to happen with the way that Rocket League works. Transitioning into another esport, very unlikely it's going to happen. The difficulty of saying you have 0, like, there's maybe 2 casters in all of the RLCS, Wavepunk, Jorby, and maybe a couple others that have true experience in other esports or in other titles. And because it's already oversaturated, for you to break into another title when there is already a plethora of talent that are already, like, it's just not going to happen. Spaceman as well, right? But, like, the realistic side of breaking into a new title is not going to happen either. So for a lot of these casters, what are they going to do? I genuinely do not know what their answer is going to be. I don't. I do not know what these guys are going to do. And if they want to focus on streaming and content, I urge all of you, go and support, love, show your respect to them. If they try to put out content and stuff, if you enjoy it, please subscribe, give them, do whatever you can to support them. But there is going to be a tough reality for a lot of these guys that a lot of us have been dealing with, myself included, for already 3-4 years. It is tough out there. It is really tough. This might be the last time they work in esports. And I don't know how quick that reality is going to hit, and I hope they can stop, but it is going to suck seeing the reality that some of these guys we may never see in a casting role again. There's no good way to say it. I hope that other opportunities will still persist. I hope there is going to be things like team streams and opportunities of that regard that really help and really provide some sort of sustainability. But this is the reality of things. And that whole tangent I just went on was all super fucking negative. And I apologize, but that's the harsh reality. That's how I talk to you guys. It's just straight up blunt the way it goes. Now, to hopefully sprinkle in some positivity and sniff some copium and some hopium, people need to understand that this is a year of simplicity, of simplifying things, of regression, of taking a step back. They need to reduce budgets. They need to operate more efficiently. They need to make sure that they do this in a way that justifies the 4-year deal they just made with Epic. Blast covers Counter-Strike, Rainbow Six Siege, FNCS, Fortnite Championship Series, as well as RLCS now. And in order to make an impact, they need to make some major changes to justify keeping this thing going for 4 years. And a lot of that is going to do with cost effectiveness. If they can't prove to Epic that we can do this more efficiently, on a better budget, and still have a good product that people tune in and watch and enjoy, and sponsors come in and enjoy, then we can't keep doing this. So the first step is, yes, layoffs, reduce. We have to. Now, the second part of that is understanding that there is a 4-year deal. Year 1 is going to hurt. It's going to hurt. We knew that. We should have known that. I've been warning you guys for a long time that things were going to change. But this is, in my opinion, the first time since Twitch was the one in charge of RLCS back in seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. This is the first time in a really long time that Rocket League or the RLCS has had a long-standing partnership with their production team, which means a long-term plan, a roadmap per se. The hope is that Blast and Epic are working on a step-by-step plan or a process to say, yes, refinement this year, reducing budget. Next year, we're going to look at what was positive, what was negative, what things did the fans react to correctly, what went really well for production value and this and that. Maybe, you know what? 2 splits isn't enough. We need to add a 3rd split. You know what? Maybe putting all of our effort into third-party tournaments and stuff like that is a better idea. We don't know. But they probably have a plan in place, and I am hoping that it goes the Counter-Strike route, because Counter-Strike, in my opinion, is still the best esport in the world. By far. Counter-Strike kills. It is so good. And my hope is that Blast can put on the love and affection that they do for the RLCS with Counter-Strike, and not the side of Rainbow Six Siege. But we don't know. We have to wait and see. And the best thing we can do as a community, as pissed off as people are, as unfortunate as the layoffs are, as unfortunate as all this shit is we have to support it if we love it. And I know it hurts. I know it sucks. But if we don't support it, it will die. 100%. If we do not watch, if we do not tune in, if we do not support, if we don't root for our favorite players, teams, casters, etc., then everybody is going to find themselves without a job. Everyone. Because at the end of the day, it is an entertainment business. And if we are not entertained, if we are not showing that we are entertained, then it will go away because Epic can no longer justify the budget to spend money on an esports system. It will go away. So for everybody saying, let's boycott it, let's do this, let's do that, this shit was inevitable. It was going to happen either way. And it sucks. These are my friends. These are my family that are losing their jobs and are now in the same position I was 4 years ago. I know exactly what they're going through. It fucking sucks. Straight up. It is horrible. It is not a good feeling. The thing that you are passionate, the thing that you give your all to be stripped away. And it's not, most cases, due to your talent, but due to budget or business decisions or different viewpoints or directions that they're trying to go. I just hope that these guys get answers. I hope that there's exit interviews. I hope there are things that educate these casters as to why they're being let go. And if it is simply it's a budget thing, we're sorry. We had to make cuts. I don't know if that's better or not. Because if I'm a caster and say, you're great, you're talented, you're amazing at what you do, but we're letting you go, my only thought is, why me then? Why was I let go and not these other people? If you're telling me it's not due to budget, if it's not due to talent, it's not due to my work ethic, it's not due to me on camera doing my job, it's due to budget, what made you decide? Did you just pick names from a hat and I got unlucky? That shit would eat away at me. And it did, because the information I was given in my exit interview was essentially, I don't know. So I've been there. I hope these guys come together. I think there's some cool opportunities. I know someone joked about a potential Manning cast, where the casters that now are no longer part of the RLCS come together and provide a watch party-esque behind the scenes thing, all that kind of stuff. But I feel for the guys. It's a shitty situation. It sucks. No one is enjoying this, but it's the reality of the industry and it had to happen. So I don't know, man. I've got nothing good to say about it other than it sucks. But I'm trying to remain hopeful that long term there is opportunities. This is the first time that it seems like the system of RLCS is planning on downtime. There is less time in the season for RLCS, which should hopefully open up third-party opportunities for some of these talent. Will it be enough to sustain? Will it be enough to create a livelihood? I don't know. I don't know. Well, the only thing we can do is wait and see. So I hope these guys keep their head down. I work hard. I hope they have a way to sustain and they have a good support system. I can tell you, I have already reached out to them directly to share my love and say I'm here for them in any way I can be. I hope you guys can do the same, but it's tough. It's tough. Either way, I wish I had better news for everybody at the end of this video, but again, if you guys would like to ask additional questions, if you'd like me to go into more specific details about the motions of how things are going on, do not be afraid to leave some questions in the comments down below or stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler, and I will do everything I can. But with that, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.